How do you see the future of the country?
The future of the country, I think in the future we might improve as a country.
I think it's better than it was 10 years ago.
The future of the country, we are still progressing. We are trying to look after the way forward after 2011.
Lusaka skal være vertskap for idrettsarrangementet Afrika Games i 2011. Det blir en utfordring og et løft for landet som har vært avhengig av bistand i mange tiår. Tilbakeslagene har vært mange, men for første gang peker ikke alle piler nedover for afrikanske land, som Zambia. Antall demokratisk valgte statsledere er økende, og tallet på væpnede konflikter har gått ned. Mange spør seg derfor om vi står overfor et tidsskille i Afrika, etter bistand, med nye politiske ledere og nye krav til demokrati og medbestemmelse.
I think the new generation of African leader has a lot more to grapple with in terms of economic development and social development than their predecessors. And therefore they'll have to take into account the new world order and the new challenges they face and be very creative and innovative in their approach to development assistance.
Will they be more negative, you think?
No, I think they'll be more positive, more creative, more receptive and probably a lot more involved in the type of development assistance and the structures that are proposed to them.
It's long been talking about exit aid. What do you think comes beyond traditional aid?
I think what should come and will come beyond traditional aid is more cooperation in terms of more sustained bilateral relations, more exchange of trade relations, and probably more partnerships through the private sector in both developed and developing countries.
Africa is now under the second generation of leaders, and their approach to development assistance is different from that of the first generation. I have no doubt that the third generation of African leaders will have a totally different approach. I think that Africans shall demand more and more equality and leveling of the playing field in the business of development assistance. I think that in the next generation of African leaders will demand a bit more transparent decision-making processes, not only in the recipient countries, but also in the donor countries. I think that Africans will demand a fair share of international or global wealth, because more and more people are coming to accept the fact that there's nothing like domestic wealth outside global wealth, and people must be thinking globally. People will now be asking the global questions. Is there any wealth that belongs to one ethnic group or to one nationality, or is this wealth supposed to be looked at from a global perspective? Meaning, therefore, that global economies must affect everybody.
You think they will be more critical?
I believe they will be more critical. I don't think that the next generation of African leaders will be as easy as the first generation of African leaders, or even the second generation. The second generation of African leaders were those who were told that the first generation of leaders made lots of mistakes, and now the developed world were coming up with panaceas to their problems. The third generation of African leaders will say, we know how to solve our problems, and they'll be more critical to debate around aid and development assistance.